We have breaking news today from Richmond. The jury has returned a verdict in the corruption trial of Bob and Maureen McDonald. The former governor of Virginia has been found guilty on 11 charges. His wife, Maureen, has also been found guilty in a few of the charges, not all of the charges.
Good evening, I'm John Rogers.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Gloria Balding. We have breaking news this evening. A military plane goes down near Deerfield. Now, if I have my best dancing dress on and my best dancing shoes, what could that mean? Only one thing. It is the big reveal tonight of the lucky 8 dancers for the 4th incarnation of Dancing with the Stars of the Berg. Now, in the studio, Gloria Balding, WHSV. So maybe you're interested about taking an MMA class, but are a little intimidated about taking that first jab? Well, have no fear. If I can do it, anybody can. Now, since this outbreak began in March, there have been many other deaths from other infectious diseases that are prevalent in sub-Saharan Africa. I'm thinking of malaria, tuberculosis. Is the response to Ebola necessarily proportional to the threat presented when you have these other big killers still out there?
Well, I mean, that's a really good question.
I did speak to the Massachusetts Air National Guard earlier today, and they confirmed to me that this was from the 104th Fighter Wing located at Barnes Air Base in Westfield, Massachusetts. Now, this map will help you see exactly where this is in Augusta County on Deerfield Road. This is where the command center is for the investigation. Many details are still waiting to be confirmed. The Massachusetts Air National Guard, they fly 2 models of the F-15, the F-15C and D. Now, we did hear reports of one person ejected from the plane. Now, this is made by the McDonnell Douglas Corporation, and it was manufactured between 1979 and 1985. This means this jet is at least 29 years old. A lot of us, including myself, played with remote control helicopters just like this one as a kid. Now, technology similar to making these things fly could change how Virginia farmers do business.
Drones. The word conjures up images of Big Brother and war. But what about this? Farms and agriculture are the frontier in drone technology.
We see agriculture as a really big growth area.
The Federal Aviation Administration is so interested in using drones that it is sponsoring research at 7 locations around the country. One of them is at Virginia Tech.
Our mission is to help with the safe integration of unmanned aircraft into the national airspace. But we also look at other applications of unmanned aircraft, say in agriculture, environmental monitoring, emergency response.
Dr. Kevin Kokersberger heads the research into integrating drones into the national air system. He thinks high-value crops could be some of the first adopters of drone technology. Different and new research and application for drones means with a remote control like this, farmers can now see their fields like never before.
One of the main things that have been done in our lab by another master's student who just finished his thesis was looking at different tobacco crops as well as corn, kind of just identifying the health of those.
This footage from the tobacco study shows the field through different filters. Drones can give a picture of crop health the farmer's eye simply can't see. The president of Bluestone Vineyard in Rockingham County thinks drones could be put to use on farms.
You can look to see if there's sections that have disease. You can look to see what's ripening first. So you can operate much more effectively without going out there and stomping through 200 acres of grapes. You right away know where you need to either add water or where you need to spray.
Back in Blacksburg, it's these concerns that graduate students like Scott Radford are working to address.
Disaster situations is kind of what I want to use it for.
Radford and fellow tech students are exploring many applications for drones, like this helicopter drone that carries a robot to a site, lets the robot down to take soil samples, and flies back. The Japanese government inquired about using it after the Fukushima reactor meltdown to check radioactivity in the soil. Then there is this use. After a sinkhole destroyed the Corvette Museum, drones were used to assess the safety of the building. Even with the benefits of drones, researchers are concerned about privacy.
What we would like to do is focus on the applications of unmanned aircraft that do not infringe on privacy issues. So agriculture, where you have cooperative control on the ground. These are areas where we see a very good opportunity for unmanned aircraft.
The negative aspects of drones could overshadow the research into the benefits, but whether you love them or hate them, you could see more images like this from above Virginia farms.
Until that time, this is as likely as close as you're going to get to a drone. In the studio, Gloria Balding, WHSV. So maybe you're interested about taking an MMA class, but are a little intimidated about taking that first jab? Well, have no fear. If I can do it, anybody can.
Believe me, MMA training is a workout, but is it safe?
Coming off this very rocky year for the president, what do you think he has to do to sell to the American people his second-term agenda?
Well, first of all, he has to let us know that he has a second-term agenda.
In this evening's 101, yesterday was the deadliest of the 17 days of the latest conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. At least 119 Palestinians were killed, raising the Palestinian death toll to over 800. Israel has lost 32 soldiers since it started ground operations in Gaza on July 17th. And joining us to discuss the ongoing fighting is Rabbi Joe Blair. He is the rabbi and spiritual leader of Temple House of Israel in Stanton and Bethel Congregation in Harrisonburg. First of all, thank you so much for being with us.
Again, my pleasure. I'm delighted to be here and so happy to talk to you.
Now, since we've been covering and talking about this conflict since it started, it's very confusing. It's a quagmire. Can you give us your perspective of what's really at the core of what's going on right now?
Again, I need to say that I speak for myself, not as an expert, but just as a person who is concerned and wants to know what's going on.
This evening's one-on-one interview, a pop quiz for you viewers out there. Who had the #1 country song in June 1973? Now, if you said Barbara Fairchild, first of all, I want you on my trivia team. But more importantly, you are a true country music fan, but do not just take my word for it. Joining me right now is the one and only Barbara Fairchild. First of all, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Now, your signature song, is it fair to say, is the teddy bear song?
I think so. That's why I take one everywhere I go.
Now, tell me about your little teddy bear friend here, right here.